Hey, Faith, will you be coming to my wedding? You're my husband's sister, so I was kinda wondering.
I wouldn't miss it for the world. I can't wait. I'm so happy for you guys.
Ugh, seriously?
I'm sorry. What's that supposed to mean? Don't you want me to come?
Well, think about it. You'd probably only steal the limelight. I bet everyone would be fawning over you instead of me. This is supposed to be my big day. How is it fair that my sister-in-law gets all the attention?
I really don't think there's any danger of that happening. I'd just be a guest.
Oh, there so is a danger of that happening, Faith. You know how my family are with you. You're their golden girl. The woman who can do no wrong. I just know you'd ruin my wedding if you came. It's not just my mom and dad either. Practically, the whole family seem to think the sun shines out of your backside.
I seriously doubt that. But even if what you're saying is true, it's probably just because there aren't any young girls on your family's side.
It's like the sparkle appears in the eyes and they rush over the moment they see you. It's like they think you're the freaking second coming of Christ or something.
Jeez, Harper, you really think so? I don't see it that way at all. You wouldn't be saying that if you knew what some of the conversations are like. A lot of it is just people asking about my private life. I could do without it, to be honest.
I was the brightest flower in the garden till you showed up on the scene. Now, it's like everyone completely forgot about me, but they fawn over you at every opportunity. Me? I don't see the appeal myself. What do you have that I don't? I'm young too, and everyone knows I'm gorgeous, unlike you.
Wow, thanks. You're such a charmer, Harper. I think this is all in your head. I don't agree with you at all.
Why would you? You're the one who gets to reap all the benefits. So why are they all obsessed with you? It's 'cause you have a degree and I don't. Or maybe they all get giddy when a young girl smiles and woos them with their cheap flattery. Life must be easy as a people pleaser.
I think everyone's just extra nice to me because I'm young and thinks I probably feel daunted after marrying into such a big family. Why does it have to mean they don't like you? I don't get your logic. I'm sure Chris's family will be the exact same towards you when you two get officially hitched. I won't deny it. You are gorgeous. You're way prettier than I could ever hope to be. I bet your family are gonna be super lonely when you're not around anymore.
Really?
Your dad said he was gonna miss you. I could never replace you, Harper. Why would anyone pay me any attention with a big bright beaming star like you up on the altar?
Right, you're right. They all be glued to the spot, transfixed by my dazzling beauty. Of course they will. Why would anyone bother looking at you?
Right? That's what I'm saying. Of course you're gonna be the star of the show, babe. You don't have a thing to worry about. So, yeah, to answer your question, me and Dan are both gonna be there. You could hardly have your brother and his wife not show up to your wedding day.
Ugh, I knew this was a bad idea. You need to go home. You need to go home, Faith. Like, disappear, right now.
Huh? Why? But the wedding's about to start.
Not with you here. I knew I made a mistake by inviting you. You're going home, and that's final. My big day's gonna be ruined if you don't go home. I'm already in a rotten mood 'cause of you.
Why? What happened? Did I do something to upset you?
I overheard you.
You overheard me?
Yeah, I just overheard you getting along like a house on fire with my husband's family. I was livid when I saw them all joking and laughing with you. What the hell do you think you're playing at, bitch?
Whoa, Jesus, Harper, chill out. What do you mean, what am I playing at? All I did was go up and introduce myself to them, for crying out loud.
Bullshit! You always do this. You're up to your old tricks again. I know it. You always have people wrapped around your little finger within 5 minutes of meeting them with that little Miss Perfect act of yours. They're my family, not yours, so stay the hell away from us. Little Miss Perfect? What the hell? I have no idea what you mean. I don't have anyone wrapped around my little finger. All I did was speak to them for a few minutes. Don't play dumb with me. I saw the big crowd around you. Why would you play happy families with my new family like that while leaving me off to one side like the black sheep on my own goddamn wedding day? The limelight is supposed to be on me. Are you trying to steal my attention? What are you talking about? All I did was comment on how much fun your wedding was. Besides, I'm not the only one who talked to them. Dan was with me the whole time. Well, I didn't see him because I was too pissed when I saw you trying to make yourself the center of attention. Anyway, I can't believe a word you say. That's not all. Even my parents were comparing us. I'm so sick and tired of it all. Comparing us? How do you mean? And in what way? They brought up your wedding when they saw me in my wedding dress. My mom said, Faith looked beautiful in her dress too. Can you even imagine how that made me feel? Can you? I don't want to hear about how beautiful some attention-grabbing bitch looked on my wedding day. Harper, I can tell you're upset, but will you please stop calling me that? I'm sure it was just a passing comment because the whole thing reminded them of mine and Dan's wedding. That's all. It hardly sounds like she was comparing us or saying either of us look better. Stop deluding yourself, Faith. She said you looked beautiful. My own mother said you looked beautiful on my wedding day. That can only mean she thinks you're more beautiful than me. Well, it seems like the only one comparing us here is you. Besides, what's wrong with being different? We all have our own unique qualities. I know there's no way you didn't hear everyone saying how beautiful you look today. Please take some deep breaths and calm down. This is all so unnecessary. Shut your mouth. I hate you. I should be the center of attention, not you. You're nothing but a disgusting eyesore, so get the hell out of my sight and disappear from my wedding. I'm here to celebrate you and your husband on your big day, Harper. Listen, I tell you what, me and Dan will just keep to ourselves for the rest of the ceremony, okay? I can tell it upsets you, so we won't speak to anyone else. I don't need you to celebrate for me. We can celebrate perfectly fine without you. Thanks. All it takes is one look at you to ruin my mood. Hurry up and disappear, whore. Jeez, so I'm a whore now too? You need to chill out. I'm your sister-in-law. Would it really hurt for us to try and get along? I've hated you since the moment I laid eyes on you. Yeah, well, somehow I kinda already knew that. But we're still technically family. So don't you think we should at least try to be amicable with one another? And there it is, your famous Little Miss Perfect act. God, you make me sick. You think you're so special just because you happen to have a degree and work for a prestigious company, don't you? Well, you ain't shit, girl. I don't think I'm special at all, I swear. There's the innocent little good girl act again. I'm gonna have a freaking meltdown if you don't get lost now. Ugh! Stop sucking up to my family. You make me want to vomit. Harper, please. You're a grown woman. Even if you hate me deep down inside, is there really any need to speak to me like this? Weddings are for adults. And hate to have to say this, but I really think you should start acting like one. Do not preach at me, you stuck-up self-righteous bitch. When the star of the show tells you to go home, you go home. Hurry up and get as far as possible from this church before I make you disappear. You're uninvited.
Fine, I get it. If you're gonna act like this, then I don't have a choice. I'm going home.
Thank God for that. Why couldn't you just have left as soon as I asked you?
But are you sure this is what you want? If you kick me out of your wedding, I'm obviously going to see you a little differently than I used to.
What? Are you threatening me?
Hardly. I just don't like being treated the way you're treating me. Anyone would feel the same in my position. I have no obligation to respect someone who treats me like dirt. It should go without saying, but I won't treat you with the same level of politeness and respect as I have until now.
What do I care? I have no intention of having anything to do with you ever again.
I see. You know what? That works for me too. I guess this is it then. Goodbye, Harper.
Why is the church empty all of a sudden? Where did everyone go? Where's my husband? And both of our parents? Did you do something?
I tried to go home just like you told me, but everyone left with me.
What? They left with you?
Everyone said, okay, we're leaving too then.
Oh my God. What about my wedding? What am I supposed to do now? I knew my brother would probably go with you, but why would my husband leave?
I wonder. Beats me. Everyone just said they were coming home with me, and that was that.
You said something to them, didn't you? This makes no sense.
Maybe I did show everyone your messages. When I did, everyone kind of just agreed to leave and shared disgust with you.
You did what? Oh my God, I can't believe this. I knew you were up to your old tricks again.
Get a grip, Harper.
You tricked them. You always do this. You steal everyone and everything I hold dear. Everyone used to love me before you showed up. Before I knew it, you were the center of attention and no one cared about me anymore. I may as well be invisible now, even on my own wedding day.
Are you sure you're not making a misunderstanding here? Whether your family or your husband's family like me or not is a separate issue. The real issue here is that you're a selfish, narcissistic, jealous, megalomaniacal bridezilla with no regard for anyone else's feelings and less self-awareness than a potato.
Aha! Finally showing your true colors, I see. I knew this is what you thought of me all along. How could you say those things? You're horrible. I'm the victim in all this. I did nothing wrong.
You kicked me out of your wedding based on some delusional persecution complex just because you don't like me. I'm your sister-in-law, Harper. How can you call yourself a grown adult? Scratch that. Are you even sane? Your husband said he's very disappointed in you.
Chris said that?
He said he couldn't bring himself to marry someone so small-minded. You know what? He actually thanked me. He had no idea what you were really like. The wedding's off.
I see how it is. You've turned everyone against me with your twisted lies, and now they're all ganging up on me, even my own husband. How could he do this? Is he seriously ditching me at the altar? This can't be happening. Oh my God.
Well, it's happening, and it's happening because of you. What you did to me was way out of line. Oh, Chris went around and apologized to the guests one by one. He told everyone the wedding was off and they had to go home. You can wait alone in that church for as long as you like, but you're not getting married.
Don't screw me around. This can't be real. I can't get ditched at the altar. No. This is not the kind of thing that happens to me. What about all the money we put into this?
Wasn't Chris the one who paid for everything? You don't have a job, do you? Chris would have called things off unless he was fully prepared to take the financial hit. That's how badly he wants out.
I'll never forgive my mom and dad for this. They can go rot in hell for all I care. What kind of parents ruin their own daughter's wedding like this? They're evil. Pure evil. To think they'd trust a meddling bitch like you over me. You're not even related to us. How can you be their favorite?
I wonder. I couldn't possibly answer that, Harper. But you know what? Your mom and dad are right next to me. How about we ask them directly? You ready? Here it comes. It's not that we have a favorite, dear, but the way you treated Faith, to be frank, was utterly despicable. Me and you, or father, found it hard to justify staying at the wedding after finding out how you were really behaving behind our backs.
What? Don't bullshit me, Faith. You made that up.
Believe me, I wish I made it up. And there's more. They said they've been at their wits' end with you and your difficult personality for a while now. This was the straw that broke the camel's back.
My difficult personality? What's difficult about my personality?
Apparently, they were worried about whether you'd find a guy to marry and settle down because of how arrogant and self-absorbed you are. You'll stop at nothing to get your own way, no matter how much trouble you cause those around you. Not to mention your victim complex. You think the world's out to get you and you lash out in response to every perceived slight.
But I did find a guy to marry until you came along and ruined everything.
Sure you did. And they said they were super relieved when they found out, because they thought you'd finally grown out of your old ways and become the mature adult they always hoped and prayed you would. But it would appear you haven't changed one bit. You should know better than to act like this at your age. Can you even imagine how disappointed your mom and dad were when they saw those messages?
I'm the one who's disappointed here. Stop trying to make this about everyone else when it's about me. I put everything on the line for this marriage. I'm never gonna find another guy as rich, as handsome as Chris.
Oh, I see. So you were marrying him for his money?
No, I didn't mean it like that. Ugh, why do you have to twist everything?
Well, how else am I supposed to interpret that?
I don't know. How about you try using your brain? Maybe your reading skills just suck.
Chris is here too, by the way. He thought that what you said meant the exact same as I did. And I gotta tell you, Harper, he's pissed. He said, wow, so she was with me for my wallet all along?
No, stop twisting my words. I didn't mean it like that.
I could tell how angry he was as soon as he read it. He just told your mom and dad. Your situation just gets worse and worse by the minute, huh, Harper? It's all your fault, of course.
Guys, please come back. Why are you all siding with that lying psycho bitch over me? I'm begging you. Please don't leave me. I can't be on my own. Please.
Harper, are you still at the church? If you are, just hurry up and go home. You can't keep hanging around now that the wedding's been cancelled.
I can't believe this is happening. No one came back. Not a single person. Did everyone really go home? Is this really the end?
Your mom and dad told me and Dan we could go. So we're grabbing some hamburgers at a restaurant near our house right now. I got the impression your mom and dad would be meeting up with Chris's family for a discussion about today's, events. They were just about to head out in the car before we left. Something tells me divorce will be the main thing on the agenda.
Divorce? But we only just got married.
You spoke to Chris on the phone, right?
Yes. He said he doesn't want any of the money he spent on the wedding back. He just wants to get away from me ASAP. So what? I told you to go home, so shoot me. Is that really the worst thing in the world? Does it really justify him being angry with me?
Of course he's gonna be so pissed. What you did to me was horrible.
Fine, maybe I did make everyone mad, but are we really talking call off the wedding levels of mad here? Seriously? Why can't we just talk things through? You know, if it was anyone but you who I kicked out, none of this would be happening. The only reason they're mad with me is 'cause I had the nerve to stand up to their golden girl.
I'm not so sure, Harper. I won't deny it's probably partly because they like me and are disgusted with you for treating me how you did.
It's not just my parents and family who got wrapped around your little finger. My husband and his family are obsessed with you as well. You're a meddling, spiteful little witch who goes around turning everyone I love and hold dear against me. I knew I should have never invited you to the wedding.
Me and Chris have been friends since before the wedding.
Lies! You started trying to woo him as soon as you found out we were getting married. I can count the number of times you met on one hand, damn it. There's no way you should have this much influence over him. Wait a second. Do you mean... No way. Are you having an affair with my husband?
Wrong. You're just talking crazy now. You know how me and him work in the same industry? Well, we hit it off day one when we met over work-related stuff. What we do is really specialized, so it's rare to find another person who actually understands it. Most people would think we were speaking a different language. We first met that night when you got blind drunk and fell asleep with your head in a toilet bowl, so you probably didn't see us.
The first time you met? You mean New Year's Eve last year?
Right. When we all got together at your folks' place, Chris told me there were some things at work that were troubling him. I've been in the business a little longer than him, so I was happy to have him bounce off his issues off me and offer some advice. He seemed really grateful. I get the feeling he's had a lot of respect for me ever since then.
You mean you've had him wrapped around your little finger ever since New Year's Eve?
No, Harper, just no. Why do you have to put it like that? Unlike you, I don't see people as objects to be used for my own personal gain. And as for your mom and dad being so good to me, there's a reason for that. Remember when your dad collapsed?
When he had that stroke 3 years ago?
Yeah. Your mom's been struggling with her back for years now, and there's no way she could have kept on top of his care. So I offered to do it. I took some time off work and lived with him until he was well enough so that they could get by without me. But you didn't even come visit him. Not a single time.
I was busy with work back then.
Your dad was heartbroken when he realized his own daughter didn't care about him. You think I wasn't busy with work? I took time off to look after him because some things are more important than money. Your mom and dad are obviously not going to take lightly to anyone mistreating me after that.
Is that why they constantly shower you with attention?
Oh, I'm not done yet. I covered the down payment on a loan back when they had their house renovated too. Then, I headed over every night after work to help with the decorating for a few weeks until everything was done. But you didn't lift a finger.
Shut up! There's no need to say it twice.
I'm still not done, Harper. There's something else you seem to be forgetting. Back when the wedding was still on, me and Dan agreed to pay for yours and Chris's honeymoon. We covered everything, from flights to food and drink, from the hotel to activities.
I don't need you to tell me my brother paid for the goddamn honeymoon. I know that. Just shut up already.
That was my idea.
It was?
I didn't just go out of my way to help your family, but I went out of my way to make life easier for you too. And this is how you repay me? By throwing it all back in my face? What's the matter, Harper? Cat got your tongue? Is the reason virtually everyone you know is angry with you finally starting to sink in?
Well, fine. maybe I got a couple of things wrong. I had no idea you did all of those things for me and my family.
Respect has to be earned. You can't just waltz in and expect everyone in your new family to automatically like you. That's not how the world works. Kindness, thoughtfulness, and hard work get rewarded.
But I did my best to make his family like me.
What does doing your best mean to you? Either you were doing your best in the wrong way or your best wasn't enough. Something tells me that if you were genuinely doing your best to be accepted, they wouldn't be so happy to see the back of you.
This is more than just being tossed aside. This is the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to a human being in the history of ever. I got dumped on my freaking wedding day. This should have been the most happiest day of my life. But why did this ever happen to me?
Because you were rampaging out of control and didn't care who you hurt if it meant getting your way. This was inevitable. Hopefully you'll learn your lesson and become a better person for it. Being young and beautiful will only get you so far. Harper's husband, Chris, immediately got to work on the divorce proceedings. He really dodged a bullet with that one. He bore the entire financial burden for the wedding since he was the one who paid for everything to begin with. But he's taking a positive outlook and sees it as the price he had to pay to learn a valuable lesson. Apparently his family are pretty well off, so it didn't do much damage in the end. What should have been the happiest day of my sister-in-law's life turned into the most embarrassing, a disaster of a kind you usually see on the movies. Me and my husband Dan live with his and Harper's parents, which means she'll probably never dare to show her face here again. Last we heard, she's living alone in some shabby old apartment in the rough part of the town while working part-time as a school janitor. Her parents make no bones about the fact they never want to see her again. "She's not our problem anymore. She did this to herself," were the final words of her mom said on the matter. When you think about it, the way she managed to lose the support of her entire family in one fell swoop is quite impressive, and it speaks volumes about what they really thought of her. As usual, everyone's still amazingly kind and supportive towards me. Dan's family make me feel so welcome and accepted that I feel like their real daughter. I feel blessed to have them in my life, and I always do my best to let them know I'm grateful.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.
Hello there, Sally. You do have a gift ready for next week's memorial service, don't you? I hope you don't think you can forget about your responsibilities just because it's only going to be family and close friends.
Oh, hi, Debbie. Yep, I'm as ready for the service as I could be.
Oh, you are? I hadn't heard from you, so I assumed you must have forgotten all about it. You seem very busy with work. You haven't even been cooking for my son recently.
I've had a lot of overtime over the last few days.
I don't want to hear your excuses. How lucky that I happened to pay him a visit with some of my award-winning winter stew. He would probably have starved if not for me. Do you think it's acceptable to let your husband starve, dear?
He'd only just eaten a few hours ago. I'm not sure there was any danger of him starving. Besides, he's more capable of cooking on his own meals.
Good grief, the things you say are beyond ridiculous sometimes. Cooking and housework are a woman's duty. I'll never acknowledge you as my son's wife until you start doing your job properly. How are you supposed to learn anything when you're cooped up in that godforsaken office all the time? Women's liberation was a mistake.
I'm sorry.
I made this crystal clear to you when you two got married, Sally. That you're to be there to support my son.
Yes, I know that, but we both work long hours. It's more like we support each other.
Didn't I tell you I don't want to hear your excuses? You haven't even produced any children yet, and this is how you speak to me. You couldn't be doing a worse job of fulfilling your duties to my son and this family if you tried. You're already in your 30s for crying out loud. Can't you hear the clock ticking, dear? Tick-tock, tick-tock. It's the sound of your eggs drying up. You do intend on providing me with grandchildren, don't you?
Yeah, of course we want kids, but we can't go blindly rushing into a decision like that. The timing has to be right.
Why do you say it like you're waiting for it to magically happen on its own? You make the timing yourselves. Good grief, this is why you're no good. All it is with you is excuses, excuses, and more excuses.
Right. I'm sorry, Debbie.
You think apologizing gets you off the hook? It's always the same with you. You ignore everything I say and think I'll forget all about it just because you apologize.
It's really not like that. It's just that my job is important to me.
Work? Important to a woman? Now I've heard it all. Why don't you leave the boys' business to the boys and start doing your real job? If you had an ounce of respect for me or this family, you would have had a bun in the oven within a few months of marrying my son. When I was your age, my Darius was already in kindergarten, you know. You need to watch yourself, girl. The clock's always ticking. If you're not careful, the ship will leave the port without you on it because you're so damn focused on that silly job of yours. Tick-tock, Sally.
Thanks for the heads up, Debbie. I'll bear that in mind.
If only your abilities as a wife were as impressive as your replies. Not that I ever expected much of you to begin with, but this is my son's life we're talking about here, and I will not have it ruined by a second-rate floozy like you.
Hey, Debbie. It was nice to see you at the memorial today. Thanks for all the food. It was really kind of you to make that lasagna, and the meat pie was amazing. You've got some serious cooking skills.
That's because, unlike you, I put a lot of time and effort into excelling in the womanly crafts. Don't get the wrong idea, girl. I did not make any of that food for you. You only got anything because you hung on like an underfed child after the service ended, so I had no choice but to bring it out with you still around. It was only supposed to be for my son and the rest of my family. My real family, that is.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had no idea.
Why didn't you go straight home when the service ended? I don't remember inviting you to the buffet.
I was about to leave when your husband called me over. He said I should stay because you were just about to start bringing out the food.
What? My Peter said that. Good grief. Whatever will I do with that man? He knows how deeply I detest you. Are you sure you didn't mishear him?
I really don't think I did.
Are you sure he wasn't just saying it to be polite because there were other people around? Yes, that'll be what it was. You weren't supposed to oblige him, dimwit.
Sorry.
That food was supposed to be for my family. In fact, my family should have been the only ones at the memorial in the first place. I only agreed to let you help me with the preparations because you offered. You weren't supposed to actually turn up to the damn thing. What's it going to take for you to learn your place? I'm losing all hope.
From the way you're talking about me, I get the impression you don't think of me as your own family.
Obviously, dimwit. Are we related? No, we're complete strangers.
I'm sure you do think of me as a stranger, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to win your approval and have you acknowledge me as part of this family. I'm serious about Darius, and I want to prove that to you, no matter how long it takes.
You become a part of this family. You couldn't win my approval in 10 lifetimes at the rate you're going, Missy. You'll have to stop with these jokes now, dear. My bowels have been loose lately, and an emergency of that kind is the last thing I need.
Still, I'm gonna do my best.
Like I just told you, it ain't gonna happen. Why bother wasting your energy? You don't have what it takes to win my approval. Rather than that, just focus on doing your job as my son's wife.
You mean have kids?
Ah, what a relief! You do have something resembling a brain in that skull of yours. Yes, giving me grandchildren is the least you could do. If you don't, me and you will be strangers for as long as you live. Naturally, failing to produce children would also mean divorce.
What? Divorce?
Yes, dear, divorce. If you can't do your job as his wife, I'll have him divorce you and marry someone who can. The earlier he gets rid of you, the better. He'll have a wider selection of partners to choose from that way.
But I don't want a divorce.
What you want is of no importance. I'll see to it that my boy has a long, hard think about your future together if you continue to defy me any longer. What good are you if you refuse to produce children? What's the point in being married to a barren wasteland? Men can have kids at any age. As for you, tick-tock, Missy. If you won't deliver the goods, I'll have him exchange you for a younger model who will.
Debbie, we're going through infertility treatment.
What did you just say? Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh, goodness gracious me. I knew it. You're defective goods.
Me and Darius are doing our best in our own way. Please, would you stop saying things like that? Things are difficult enough as it is without you being cruel on top of it.
Is the defective article talking back to me? Back in the good old days, women like you were handed a set of divorce papers and cast aside like the dead weight they were. There's nothing else for it. I was willing to give you a chance before, but now, it's no good. You have to separate.
Even if the treatment fails and we can't ever have kids, I have no intention of leaving Darius.
What you want is of no importance to me, young lady. If you can't fulfill your duties as his wife, there's no point in you being married. I must tell my husband about this at once.
Debbie, I'm not trying to be rude, but I'd really appreciate if you could try to be a little more understanding of our situation. Can't we compromise somehow? To be honest, I was dreading telling you, but I didn't want you to think we were trying. Please.
Let's see. I need to hear what my son thinks about this. All right, fine. Let's all get together for an honest, frank discussion about your future.
Really?
Yes, I'm prepared to accept I've been a little inconsiderate. But I mean it when I say I want grandkids. And that's never going to change. Darius is my only son, after all. Surely it's only natural I'd have expectations of you.
I get that.
Make no mistake, this only means I'll hear out what you both have to say. Don't mistake my kindness for approval.
That's enough for me. Thank you.
Don't think this means divorce is off the table either. I'm still prepared to do what needs to be done if you give me nothing but excuses. My son has wants and needs of his own. All right, it's settled. Let's all discuss it over dinner the day after tomorrow. There's a restaurant I've been dying to go to lately.
You want to do this in public at a restaurant? Are you sure?
If I have to listen to a depressing sob story about how my son's wife's womb is a barren wasteland, I at least want to enjoy some delicious food to soften the unpleasantness of it all. Surely you'd feel better about the whole thing if you could enjoy some good food while we talked.
I guess. Okay, the day after tomorrow, right? I'll get ready.
Yes, I'll be picking you up in the car. I'll come to your house first, and then we can pick Darius up outside the station after he gets off work. I take it you do plan on leaving the office on time.
Yeah, I've been finishing early every day of this week, so there shouldn't be any problems on that front. Thanks for going to the trouble of picking me up. I appreciate it.
My husband said the car needed washing, so I can stop by at the car wash before I get you. 2 birds with 1 stone. I'll see you the day after tomorrow.
Hey, Debbie, are you there? You told me yesterday we'd all be coming to today's dinner. I've been waiting ages for you to come and get me now. Is everything okay?
Do forgive me, Sally. I decided last minute we should have dinner with just me, Peter, and Darius instead. You know, my family. My real family. I told Peter not to bother stopping by at your house.
What?
You can watch the house on your own instead. The restaurant we're heading to is a little on the expensive side. Such luxury would be wasted on the likes of you. I know I said you could come, but the more I thought about it, the more ridiculous it seemed. Think about it. How can I possibly justify wasting money on food that good on the likes of you?
Was this your plan all along? Were you lying when you said we were gonna discuss our treatment too?
Me? A lie? Scandalous. I've never told a lie in my life. At the time, I was genuinely considering hearing you out, but then I realized the futility of it all. Come on, dear. What could possibly be gained by hearing some defective article give me her sob story on how she can't provide me with grandchildren? Exactly nothing. So, why have you spoiled the atmosphere while we eat? You can stay home.
I'm pretty sure Darius is gonna get up and leave the moment you tell him I'm not coming.
Don't talk nonsense, dear. We already picked him up at the station. He didn't have any complaints when I told him you wouldn't be coming. It would appear he's more receptive towards my remarriage idea than you would have liked to believe.
Huh? No way. That can't be.
Why didn't he object when I told him you weren't coming then? He just nodded his head, and that was the end of it. He's probably just as sick of you as I am. And why wouldn't he be? Do you know how embarrassing it is for a man for his woman to need fertility treatment? You hear stories about it all the time.
Darius thinks of me more than anyone.
Wake up and smell the coffee, Sally. He clearly doesn't anymore. Guess what? I already found several candidates for his replacement wife. He seemed opposed to the idea at first, but he soon changed his tune when I showed him the pictures of his new potential brides. Looks like you're getting tossed to the wayside, Missy.
No way. My husband would never abandon me.
What value does a woman in her 30s have to anyone? What's more, you're damaged goods. You can't even have kids. Stop burying your head in the sand and face reality. Don't think anyone in this family actually likes you just because my son and husband pretended to be nice to you all this time.
You really hate my guts, huh, Debbie?
Obviously, dimwit. You don't have a single redeeming quality. Your face is mediocre, your personality's rotten, you're unfeminine, you couldn't be any plainer if you tried. You're just some sad, futureless, worn-out old hag. You let my son do the housework while slaving away at that damn company you're so obsessed with. And to top it all off, you're incapable of having children. You don't deserve to call yourself a woman. What value is there in you even being alive?
I can't take this anymore. You've made it crystal clear about how you feel about me.
I'm pleased we have an understanding. I suggest you get started on packing up your things sooner rather than later. I'll be in touch when we decide on a replacement wife for my son.
Do as you please.
Don't worry, dear, I shall. It's such a shame to have to tell you this, but your happily married life is hereby over. Hurry up and tell Mommy and Daddy you'll be coming home. Me and my family are breaking all ties with you. Sally, dear, it turns out we were able to reach a conclusion on your future while we were still in the car. Even I didn't expect things to move along this quickly. Both Darius and Peter told me I can do whatever I want.
I see. And you felt the need to go out of your way to tell me that?
Who do you think you're speaking to, young lady? Start showing some manners. I'm still your mother-in-law for the time being.
I don't have any obligation to be nice to you, Debbie.
Whatever, I could care less. If impotently seething like this makes you feel better, who am I to stop you? You'll be nothing but a distant memory before long. This luxury dinner for just the three of us is going to be amazing.
You wouldn't happen to be on your own right now, would you, Debbie?
Well, yes, I am. Why? The restaurant doesn't have a car park, so Peter dropped me off outside while him and Darius go off and look for a space. They'll be back anytime now.
Have you been waiting for a while already?
It's only been 15 minutes. The roads are busy around this part of town at this hour. Don't worry, they'll be back any minute now. Anyway, what does any of this have to do with you? You're the only one on your own here.
Oh, I'm not on my own. Your husband and son are here with me right now.
What? They're with you, but why would they? What are you talking about? This doesn't make any sense.
I got a message from Darius, inviting me out for a meal, just after your last message earlier. Let's go out for a meal as a family, babe. Just me, you, and my dad. I'm in the car with them both right now. We're on our way to another restaurant.
Excuse me? No way. No way! You're obviously lying because you're bitter about being abandoned. They just dropped me off outside the restaurant. Why would they possibly ditch me to eat with the likes of you? There really isn't a car park here. It's not like my husband was lying. They just went to find a parking space.
Don't worry. They found a parking space because they drove straight home. They told me all about how you wouldn't shut up about Darius divorcing me and remarrying a more suitable candidate, or making fun of me because of the infertility treatment. Well, Darius's patience finally reached its limit. He's so sick and tired of you, he never wants to see you again for the rest of his life. Your son just disowned you, Debbie.
No way. My darling boy would never do that. Besides, he never said anything in the car. If his patience had really reached its limits, as you claim, he would have spoken out.
Oh, he knows you're so arrogant and so self-absorbed that speaking to you is pointless. He's done with you. He said you may as well forget about him because he's not your son anymore.
Oh, no, you don't, young lady. Stop right there. I can see what you're doing. You're trying to scare me because I wouldn't tolerate the fact that you had the nerve to be infertile. Aren't you? Well, it won't work. As if my own family would ditch me outside a restaurant and leave me to eat on my own.
I can assure you most definitely will be eating on our own.
They have been gone a while. Wait, are you serious? Did they actually abandon me? That's so horrible. How could they do this?
Isn't it obvious? You treated me like I wasn't even human. Did you really think my husband was gonna tolerate you speaking about his wife like that? You had no right to treat me the way you did, and now you're paying the price.
Sally, where are you right now, sweetie? Won't the three of you at least come back to get me? It's getting cold out here.
Sorry, we're going out for a family dinner, which means you're not invited. You'll have to make your own way home.
Oh my god. Don't say things like that. Please, will you tell my son to get his dad to answer the phone? I must have tried calling him 10 times by now. Darius won't pick up either. Are their phones broken?
Nope. Their phones are fine. They just don't want to speak to you.
Fine, you win. Have it your way. I'll hear out what you have to say. Let's all sit down and have a chat like we originally intended. Just me, you, and Darius. That's what you wanted, isn't it? Please, just come back and get me. I don't know the bus routes around here.
No. You can take your chat and stick it where the sun doesn't shine. I couldn't care less whether I get your approval anymore. In fact, I'd prefer if you kept it to yourself, along with your hateful, malicious comments and outdated opinions.
You don't want my approval. Do you really think we could go on like this, Sally? Get real. You're my son's wife.
I did my best to try and compromise with you, to try and prove how hard I wanted to win your acceptance as a member of this family. I couldn't do anything about the fact I worked long hours and I wasn't willing to quit my job. But beyond that, I did everything I could. I kept on top of the housework on my own to the best of my ability. And even while I was working, I went out of my way to make sure Darius had quality, home-cooked food on the table whenever he got back from work. I went out of my way to make it to family events and gatherings, even booking time off work despite my schedule being hectic. But eventually, I realized no matter how hard I worked, I'd never win your approval. And I've kept pushing myself past my limits. Like that, I only end up in an early grave.
That's simply not true. I was willing to accept you, dear. I really was. But you had to prove your dedication to my son and this family by giving us children first.
You see, Debbie, the problem with that is, I think your outdated way of thinking is disgusting. There was a time when I hoped we could get to know each other and build something resembling a positive relationship one day. But I realized that going out of my way to try and win the approval of someone as toxic as you could never end well. You're the vilest, most black-hearted person I've ever met.
Vile and black-hearted? And what does calling me such awful things make you? Take a look in the mirror, bitch. This is no way to speak to your mother-in-law. You disrespectful little cretin.
I don't think of you as my mother-in-law. My only in-law is Peter, because unlike you, he's actually a decent human being.
Sally, please. I forgot to bring my purse. I'm already sat down in the restaurant. I had to come inside because it was getting so darn cold outside. I ordered some drinks and I'm feeling a little tipsy. I can't pay the bill without my purse.
Oh, I'm sorry, Debbie. You seem to be making a tragic misunderstanding. You seem to think that's my problem when it's not.
Oh, come on. Don't be like that. Just because me and you might not be on the best of terms doesn't mean you have to let me get in trouble. What am I supposed to do? Do you have any idea how embarrassing this is going to be for me? It's bad enough already after no one showed up despite me telling the waiter there'd be 3 of us.
Not my problem. Me and you are strangers, and what you do or what happens to you when the restaurant finds out you're stealing their alcohol has nothing to do with me.
Sally, please, listen to me. I'm sorry. Look, I just apologized, so please, I'm begging you. Won't you all come back and get me? Let's have dinner together.
Nope. We'll be eating as a family tonight, which means you're not invited. You're the one who tried to kick me out of your lives, remember? You're on your own now. Fix your own mess. Good luck finding a new family. 'cause this one's done with you. After that, me, Darius, and Peter all went to a fancy restaurant downtown together, where we had the most amazing steaks. No one had any desire to rescue Debbie from the mess she'd gotten herself into. In fact, we all find it kind of amusing. But since all she ordered was a few drinks, they gave her the benefit of the doubt and agreed to let her go home and come back with the money. She went back and paid the next day, and that was the end of that. However, she didn't have the money for a bus or a taxi. She had to walk back the whole 5 miles to her house at night in the middle of winter. Now that's what I call karma. Debbie was furious at her husband for not going out to pick her up. But when she started telling him off, he suddenly lost it with her and yelled at her so loud it said the screams of rage could be heard all the way from Jupiter. I guess we all have our limits. She soon zipped it when she realized Peter had reached his. He swore he'd divorce her if she tried to pull any of her old crap on him again, and something tells me he knew he meant it. I think we'll be seeing a much quieter, more reserved Debbie from here on out. After she started behaving herself, we decided to tell her the real reason we were going through infertility treatment was in fact because of Darius, not me. Mouth agape, all the color drained from her face before. She immediately got down on her knees and apologized profusely. But there are some things you don't forgive or forget. I'll definitely never forget what she put me through. That said, she did seem genuinely remorseful. She is still Darius's mother, so we agreed not to completely break things off with her. We haven't decided how often we'll see her yet, but we're thinking maybe once a year. 3 months after the events of today's drama, and after finally placing some distance between ourselves and the mother-in-law from hell, I finally fell pregnant. Darius and Peter were over the moon, and we held a family gathering at our place, just the 3 of us. Obviously, Debbie wasn't invited. There was a tiny part of me that felt sorry for her. But when I reminded myself why we were keeping our distance in her in the first place, and considered the strong likelihood of her sticking her nose in dew, how we bring up the baby if we allowed her to worm her back way into our lives, that sympathy soon disappeared. She might be on her best behavior right now, but that still doesn't mean I trust her. I'm not risking through anything like that again, which is why me and my husband plan on maintaining a healthy distance from her going forward. I have nothing but love and gratitude for Darius and Peter for being there to support me throughout this whole thing. And I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure they always know how much I appreciate them. Let's all spread the love, folks.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.
Hey, Paul. I'm sorry, but I'm really not up to cooking anything for dinner this evening. I know you've been busy at work all day, but would you mind picking yourself up something from the store on the way back?
Don't sweat it. I'll cook for us tonight.
Wow. Are you sure?
Yeah, it's no big deal. Besides, we've practically been living off nothing but takeout lately. We should really start thinking about stuff like vitamins and nutrients, now that you're eating for 2.
I'm sorry, honey. I've been so tired lately you wouldn't believe. My body's so heavy these days that even getting from the sofa to the kitchen is an accomplishment, and I've been suffering with awful morning sickness on top of it.
I know it must be tough for you, babe, but before long, it'll all be worth it. Not long now, huh? In less than 2 months, we're gonna be parents. Hey, I tell you what, when we get done eating, I'll give you one of my famous foot massages.
Thanks. Your massages are the best. I can't wait. I know you must be crazy tired from all the hours you've been working lately. Sorry to trouble you.
It's nothing, really. What's this world coming to if you can't give the mother of your child a foot massage after work? Besides, your burden is a lot heavier than mine. As a guy, this kind of thing is about all I can do, so I'll be damned if I'm not going to do everything I can. You've been growing a brand new human in your belly for the last 7 months. Can't even begin to imagine what that must be like.
You're the best husband in the world. I feel so lucky to have you. You're the kindest, most understanding person I've ever met.
You really think so?
Of course I do. On top of the crazy hours you're putting in at the office to make sure me and our baby have everything we need, you help out with the housework. And you even cook sometimes. You go the extra mile for me, honey. I hope you know how much I appreciate it. Not all couples are like this, you know. My friend told me her and her husband were bickering and fighting practically every 5 minutes while she was pregnant with their son. Apparently, he never helped her with anything.
Well, my company doesn't ask us to do overtime unless there's some kind of emergency. So I have it pretty easy compared to a lot of people. If I was in a busier industry or worked at a company with a more questionable take on ethics, there's no guarantee I'd be able to help out as much as I do. In truth, I feel lucky.
Huh? But you help me out around the house even when you're busy.
I suppose I do what I can. My sister was always asking me for favors back when she was pregnant. I guess you could say I'm used to it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I remember. You were always rushing out to drive her from A to B or pick up groceries. You were her lifeline back then, with her husband not always being around.
I've never thought of it that way, but I guess I might have been handy to have on standby. The timing on her husband's business trips were nothing short of a disaster. I know he couldn't help it, but it really made things difficult for her. My mom and dad were so tied up with work back in our hometown that they weren't much help either.
No kidding. Your parents are workhorses in every sense of the word. I've never known anyone to work so hard at their age. I can't help but wonder if that's why your mom hates me.
Whoa, where did that come from? My mom hates you? What makes you think that?
Yeah. She's always so cold and blunt with me.
Huh? Really? But didn't you say you thought she was really kind before?
She was, until I got pregnant. Ever since I quit my job so I could come home to be with you and get ready for the birth, I can't help but feel she's been off with me. Sure, it's not like we live together or anything, and I hardly ever see her, but I feel... I don't know. I guess you could call it hostility? From the tone of her message and phone calls.
Wow. I had no idea. I really don't think my mom's the type of person to hate someone just because they're not working. Especially when you have a perfectly legitimate reason. You're heavily pregnant, for crying out loud. Besides, don't all soon-to-be moms stop working when they're as ready to burst as you are?
Sure they do, but don't you think she might be angry because I quit my job outright instead of going on maternity leave? I feel like she's being cold towards me because I left the company.
How so? Any examples?
Well, for starts, she used to send me tons of presents. Your mom's always going away on business, right? Well, she'd send me gifts and souvenirs from wherever it was she happened to be, but lately she hasn't sent anything.
Now that you mention it, I guess you're right. Surely that just means she hasn't been on any business trips lately?
That's not all. She was really cold towards me when I told her the baby's due date, and she hasn't been to see me once. And I guess, why would she? It's not like I'm her real daughter. It won't be her first grandchild either, so she probably doesn't care.
She was asking all kinds of questions about how you were. Last time we spoke on the phone, she actually seemed really interested in you.
Really?
Yeah, really. I think you're overthinking this.
I hope so.
I know you can't help how you feel though, sweetie. So don't sweat it. If that's the impression you got, then that's the impression you got. I honestly don't think there's anything to worry about though. I hope you'll always let me know whenever something's bothering you. I tell you what, I'll ask my mom a few roundabout questions. Hopefully that will help put your mind at rest. Asking her directly might upset her and make things awkward between you, so I'll have to be discreet. But leave it with me.
Thanks, Paul. I appreciate that. I'll just put it down to me overthinking for the time being. Anyway, see you soon. Drive safe. Paul, are you there? Are you still at work? What's going on? You're normally home 2 hours ago. Why haven't you messaged me?
Sorry, I'm on my way home now.
Were you at work? Where have you been?
Listen, Catherine.
What the hell is going on?
There were some problems at the office.
There were? Ugh, I've been going out of my mind with worry here, Paul. Why didn't you tell me? You're normally home way earlier than this. I felt like you'd vanished off the face of the earth when you didn't message me.
I'm really sorry, babe. That was wrong of me. I was rushing around like such a lunatic trying to get on top of the situation at work that I totally lost track of time.
Is everything okay? When you say you're coming home now, does that mean it's all been dealt with?
No, not quite. I've reached my limit for today, though. I'm on my way home regardless.
I see. It's not like you do overtime. I think this might be the first time since we started dating.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Anyway, enough of that. I'm sure you just want to forget about it all for today, right, sweetie? More importantly, supper! I know you're probably tired, so I understand if you just want to make something simple. Do you have anything in mind?
Actually, I think I'm just gonna pick something up on the way home today. Tired doesn't even begin to cover my mental state after the day I've had. It's late, too. It'll be time for bed by the time I finish preparing and cooking everything, even if it is something simple.
Oh my god, seriously? But I was so looking forward to eating one of your home-cooked meals.
Please, can you just cut me some slack today?
Fine. I'll settle for a ready meal then. But I want a cup of soup too. Make sure you get the freeze-dried type.
All right. Got it.
Oh yeah, guess what? I sent your mom a picture of the ultrasound today, but you'll never believe it. She left me on red. I got totally blanked. Don't you think that's horrible?
I see.
I see? Is that all you've got to say? A little more understanding would be nice. You know before how I said I was gonna chalk what I thought about your mom being cold towards me down to overthinking? Well, I take it back. Who leaves a picture of their daughter-in-law's baby scan on red? That confirms it. I was right. She hates me.
All right. Leave it with me. I'll prod around with a few indirectly worded questions, but let's not jump to conclusions before we know for sure, okay? You know how busy she is. Maybe she just forgot to reply.
I really don't think she did. She was never like this before. I hope you're gonna have my back if it turns out she does hate me. Can I count on you, Paul? Are you gonna be there when I need you?
Well...
Because the thing is, I have no interest in having any kind of relationship with someone who hates me. How about you pick a damn side and stop fence-sitting for once?
I'm not sitting on the fence, Catherine. I just don't want to go doing anything brash without knowing the full story. But rest assured, I won't force you to carry on seeing her if it turns out what you're saying is true.
Good. Anyway, I'm hungry. Hurry up and get home with my supper.
By the way, I saw David, your old coworker, earlier.
Where?
On the way to a meeting with a client.
Really? I haven't spoken to him since I left the company. How was he? Is he doing well?
I only saw him from a distance. It reminded me of what good friends we all used to be. Remember how we used to go out with him and his wife on days out or to restaurants together? Stuff like that? We don't see each other at all these days.
It's true, we don't, but remember, they have a son to think about now. It's hard to find time for things like that when you have kids.
Sure, I get that. But it'd be nice to see them again, you know? For old time's sake. How about we all get together again after the baby's born? You were saying you wanted some other mom friends just the other day, right? I think David's wife, Christine, would be perfect. I mean, you're already friends, right? It'd just be a case of picking up where you left off.
Listen, baby, the truth is, me and Christine aren't friends. I actually found her really difficult to get along with.
Huh? Really?
Yeah. Surely you know her personality's a little gloomy, right? It's like walking on eggshells being around someone like that.
I honestly never noticed.
'Cause you're a dullard. It's fine. I'm sure I'll find some new mom friends if I keep looking. I'm not so desperate for company that I tolerate people I don't like.
Yeah, fair point. Anyway, I'll be home after I pick up something to eat from the store.
Paul, are you serious? I'm so mad at you. What are you playing at? Ugh! You are gonna come see me at the hospital today, aren't you? Your son wants to meet you.
I'm sorry. I can't.
What did you just say? Are you being serious right now?
Yes.
You mean you can't make it 'cause of work today? Again?
Yep.
Ugh, this cannot be happening. You've only been to see us at the hospital once since I gave birth. What do you think you're playing at? I don't want to hear any crap about overtime either, 'cause I know your company doesn't make you do any. Who does this as soon as their kid is born? You do know me and your son are coming home tomorrow, don't you?
I don't have a son. I want a divorce. Whether you come home or not makes no difference to me.
Oh my God, Paul, what are you talking about? Where's all this coming from? Stop joking around. I'm not laughing. Just stop it.
I'm not joking. I'm as serious as it gets.
Why are you being like this? Do you have any idea what a toll being pregnant all the time took on me? The birth wasn't exactly a walk in the park either.
Yep.
Yup? What the freaking hell is yup? I don't want to hear yep. You goddamn jerkwad. Don't you care about your son?
I believe that all children are precious. But I find it difficult to care about your son for personal reasons.
My son? He's your son too, Paul. Oh, you make me sick. I never thought you were like this. I would have never gotten pregnant if I knew you were gonna divorce me. Take responsibility.
Nope.
Do not screw around, you lowlife prick. He doesn't even have a name yet. What am I supposed to put on the birth certificate?
You should probably hold off on that. And whatever you do not write my name on it.
I was wrong about you. If I knew you were gonna toss me aside like a piece of garbage the moment things got tough, I would have never let you get me pregnant. I would have never married you. I'm phoning your parents. Mark my words, you will take responsibility for what you've done. Paul, I got discharged from the hospital today. I just got home. What's going on? Where are our things? The house is almost empty.
Yep. I took all my stuff. Your things are in cardboard boxes in the bedroom. You can deal with sending them off to wherever you go from here by yourself. I'm selling the house.
Wow. I can't believe it. So you were serious about the divorce?
Yep. I left the divorce papers on the shelf by the front door. I need you to sign them and post them in the envelope I left.
You mean you can't even bring yourself to see my face? Is that why you left before I got home?
Bingo. If we need to discuss anything, we can do it through our lawyers.
What about our son? How am I supposed to raise him in a house with nothing in it?
It's not my problem what you do with the kid. But like I said, I'm selling the house, so you definitely won't be raising him there. How about you take him to David's place?
Huh?
Your old coworker, David. You know, his real dad.
What are you talking about? He's your son.
Can you prove it?
Prove it? Why do you need proof? Surely you know he's yours. I'm your wife, for Pete's sake.
But that kid's the product of an affair. Of course, it's not his fault his parents are cheating lowlives. But I have neither any right nor obligation to raise him.
Oh my God. How can you say these things? You're horrible.
The only one who's horrible here is you. You lied about him being mine while knowing damn well he wasn't. You filled me with false hope, an attempt to get me to raise someone else's kid.
What makes you think he's David's? Because we got along before the pregnancy? Oh, please. Just because I have male friends doesn't mean I'm seeing them behind your back.
My mom said she saw you together after we found out you were pregnant.
Huh?
It was just after you left the company to come back to live at home with me. You were away for 3 days straight, remember? Because you didn't come home straight away. You stopped off in Philly on the way, didn't you?
Philly? What? No way! I've never been there. Are you sure this isn't a case of mistaken identity?
Granted, she saw you from pretty far away, but she took plenty of pictures. She was over there on a business trip at the time. When she realized what she was seeing, her and her coworker followed you into a cafe to see if they couldn't eavesdrop on your conversation.
No way!
Yes way. She had her coworker who you don't know sit on the next table across. She overheard everything. How did it go again? Oh yeah, David, this baby. There's a good chance it's not Paul's. I think you're the father.
What? No! She must have misheard us!
Even still, why would you be in Philly with David in the first place?
Well, we just bumped into each other by chance.
In Philly? Since when do you go there? I could at least respect you a little if you were just honest about what you did. This is why my mom's been off with you ever since. Because she knew you were cheating on me, and that the baby might not be mine. Obviously, she couldn't know for sure without digging deeper. You said it yourself. There was still a chance it might be mine. But at the same time, she knew how hurt I'd be if she told me what she saw. She said she was chronically worried and losing sleep because she didn't know whether to tell me.
But that's why you decided to divorce me, right? Because of what your mom told you? In the end, she did hurt you, and she did it all for nothing because this little boy is yours, I swear!
The only one who hurt me is you. Even if there was still a chance he was mine, that doesn't take away the fact that you cheated on me.
But I didn't! Where's the proof? Surely you're not making accusations like this based purely on something your mom told you she thinks she saw? Are you really gonna point the finger of doubt on your own wife based on hearsay? Without a shred of evidence? That's horrible!
If it's proof you want, I have it. Have you heard the term DNA test before? Remember that time I came to visit you at the hospital after the birth? Well, I was actually there for a DNA test.
Wait, what?
The results came in yesterday. It's just like I thought. He's not mine.
No way! Oh, this can't be happening. This is all a sick joke, right?
I wish it was, Catherine. I wish it was. This proves, beyond any shadow of a doubt, you cheated on me. I can't believe I had to find out like this.
I'm so sorry.
Does that mean you admit it?
No, please hear me out. Look, this is how it happened. Dave invited me over to his house. He said his wife couldn't drink because she was pregnant, but he really wanted to have a drink with someone, so he offered me some wine. It was really strong. I don't know if maybe he put something in it because I don't remember anything after that.
Let me get this straight. You're saying you think he spiked your drink and raped you?
Yes.
That's strange, because I'm with David right now. And he says you're lying.
What?
I drove over to see him because I wanted to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. He admitted it the moment I showed him the DNA results.
No, he's lying! You can't trust a word he says. He's a pathological liar.
He showed me your message history. It wasn't just a one-off, was it? There were no mentions of any drinks being spiked or anyone passing out and not remembering anything. In fact, it seems to me like you were always really excited to go and see him.
Paul, please. My head was all over the place back then after what he did to me. I wasn't thinking straight. You're the only one I love, and that's the truth. Please believe me, I never wanted to divorce you.
Of course you didn't. What would it accomplish? He was a married man after all. But whether you wanted a divorce or not, you still cheated on me. And without a condom, no less, you dirty girl.
I'm so sorry, baby.
Don't baby me, you lying whore. You tried to trick me into raising another man's kid. You're the most despicable person I've ever had the displeasure of knowing.
Whether this baby boy turned out to be yours or not, I've always thought of you as his. I've been filled with nothing but regret this whole time. I swore never to betray you again when I found out I was pregnant. I was committed to raising him together as our son. Do you have any idea how hard this pregnancy was on me?
Not my problem. You only have yourself to blame.
I believed with all my heart that you'd be man enough to step up to the plate and raise this baby boy, even if you weren't blood related.
Man enough to raise someone else's kid? Now I've heard it all! Look, I'll admit that if I'd spent long enough raising him without knowing the truth, I probably would have gotten attached and found it difficult to let go.
Right? So why do things have to be different now? You can still raise and love him as your own.
But I do know the truth now, don't I? I know exactly what you did.
This is all your mom's fault. If your mom didn't go sticking her nose where it didn't belong, this poor boy would have grown up with both parents in his life, surrounded by love and warmth.
Have you heard yourself? What are you even saying? Don't blame the mess you made on my mom. She was only trying to look out for me. You and David are the only ones at fault here.
Paul, please, I'm so sorry. Please give me another chance. I swear I'll never betray you again. I'll dedicate every fiber of my being to making you and this baby boy happy for as long as I live.
Nah. Me and you are done. And I sure as hell ain't raising some other dude's kid.
Please don't divorce me, baby. I can't bear to lose you. You're all I have.
You really meant that. You would have never cheated on me in the first place. No matter how desperately you beg and plead, there isn't anything you could possibly say at this point that would change things.
Oh my God. I can't raise a baby boy on my own. What am I supposed to do without you?
I just got off the phone with your mom. Her and your dad are gonna come and pick you up from the house soon. So presumably you'll be staying with them for a while. You and David can take care of the rest between yourselves and his family.
But I want to raise this boy with you.
Believe me, I wanted to as well. I wanted it more than anything. Till I found out, that is. I felt like my heart stopped when I got that phone call from my mom a month ago. My world was flipped and turned upside down in an instant. I wanted to believe in you. That's why I went for a DNA test. I was willing to pretend I didn't know about the affair for the sake of the kid if it turned out to be mine. But he isn't.
I'm so sorry.
Not only is he not my kid, but now I know that my own wife is a treacherous lowlife who cheated on me. You can't chalk this down to getting drunk and being taken advantage of or making a mistake, because you went back to him time and time again. How do you think I felt when I found out? You have no idea, do you? Do you even care? I find it hard to believe you'd be capable of something so cruel and heartless if you did.
I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I'm begging you. I'll do anything.
There's nothing I want from you. Forget about me and focus on making your son happy from now on. There's nothing I can do for him because I'm not his dad. It's time for you to take responsibility for what you did. After that, with the assistance of my lawyer, I divorced Catherine without a hitch. Naturally, her lover, David's name was the one that ended up on the father field in the birth certificate. Catherine, suddenly having nowhere to live, went to stay with her parents, who, in spite of being disgusted by their daughter's actions, couldn't bring themselves to abandon her and their grandson. Apparently, they were beside themselves with anger and disappointment towards Catherine, but they understood that the baby was an innocent victim in all of this, and wanted to make sure he wasn't punished for the sins of the mother. Babies, especially newborns, need to be raised in a warm, loving environment with people who can be relied on to provide constant care and attention they need. As such, my ex-in-laws vowed to do everything they could to provide for him, which, in spite of me having no relation to the kid, put my mind strangely at ease. As for David, my ex-wife's lover, his wife Christine divorced him immediately when she found out about his extracurricular activities. Apparently her parents are pretty well off, which meant neither them nor Christine were financially dependent on David, and as such, They could afford to remove him from their lives completely, which they promptly did, who was a top executive at the company. Needless to say, he didn't take too kindly to the betrayal of his daughter, and David quickly found himself unemployed. I hear he moved out to the countryside to escape the shame of his actions, and is now working like a dog to keep up with the child support payments for his and my ex-wife's kids. My ex-wife messaged me, begging me to take her back countless times after the divorce, but I ignored her every time. There's nothing I can do for her now. I only hope that she thoroughly honors her responsibilities as a mother and does her absolute best to raise her son in spite of the circumstances. I dove headfirst into my work after everything that happened, so much so that my coworkers joked that I should set up a tent in the office. I hoped it might help me forget the trauma of being betrayed by a woman that I loved the most in the world. And you know what? It did. Between that and the kind, understanding, and unwavering support of my family, friends, and coworkers, I'm actually starting to feel a lot better. I don't have so many flashbacks or nightmares about what happened anymore either. I'm having a blast, devoting myself to my hobbies for the first time in years, something I never had the time to do when I was married. Finding out my wife was pregnant with someone else's kid was quite a shock, but now I'm putting it all behind me and focusing on building a happy, fulfilling new life for myself. How can you enjoy the present if you spend all your time dwelling on the past? Onwards and upwards, I say. Life is full of ups and downs. I've had my fair share of downs, but I firmly believe that my happiest years still lie ahead of me, and I'm going to do everything I can to make them a reality.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.